Today on the Diz List, we discuss the top announcements from Destination D23 2023.
Welcome to the Diz List, the podcast that ranks everything in Walt Disney World. I'm Nick.
And I'm Rob, and welcome to episode 63, where we discuss the top announcements from Destination D23 2023. Michael Jordan is number 23.
How many other 23s can we fit into this?
Is Don Mattingly 23?
We're just going to start naming every athlete that
Was I right?
I hate the Yankees, but I think so, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right, so...
or I guess LeBron James. Oh, we're stopping. Yeah. We're moving on now.
Sure.
Okay.
Go Bills.
I can't even tell you who 23 on the Bills is.
So I was not. So I forgot that it was D23. That's how lackluster this was. I don't know how you felt about it, but like I came home after my practice. So I had soccer practice with your daughter.
Yep.
I got home and I went onto Instagram. I was like, whoa, that's cool. Some little tiny announcement.
Yep.
I was like, they must be just starting to roll out the small announcements. And it ended up being like one of the bigger announcements of the day. I sent it to you, and you're like, oh, yeah, I'm watching it live.
Well, the first thing I texted you was Country Bears, which we'll get to later.
Yeah.
I texted you Country Bears, and then you said something back, and I go, oh, yeah, I'm watching it live.
Yeah. So why don't you tell everybody what Destination D23 is?
So Destination D23, I'm going to go back even further because I got the question from my son when we were watching it together. He asked what D23 was.
Yeah,
what is a D23?
That's a fan club.
Right.
I'm part of it. I don't know. Have you ever signed up for it?
I am. I am not a paid member, but I am a fan club member. Yep. So if you pay, you get special bing bongs in the mail or whatever.
Did they send you the guy from that movie?
No, but we've used that term in our family before Inside Out even came out. But we were very excited when we went to see the movie, and Bing Bong was the name of a character.
Bing Bong's the name of the character?
Yeah. But we've been using that term a long time.
That's funny.
Anyway, so D stands for Disney, 23 stands for 1923 when the Disney Brothers first started their company. And the D23 Expo and Destination D23, people listening are like, whoa, what are you talking about? So every year around this time, I feel like sometimes it's August maybe, but they'll do a big giant thing in Anaheim at the convention center. And it's sort of similar to what they do down in San Diego for Comic-Con.
You mean every other year?
Yes. So, did I say every year?
You did.
Every other year. And then the opposite year is what we have right now, and that is Destination D23.
Which is Walt Disney World focused, right?
Well, we discussed this a little bit here in the pregame, and we both sort of discussed the fact that there was a lot of stuff from Shanghai. There was stuff
beautiful stuff,
right? But it wasn't all specifically Walt Disney World, which you then looked up and you're like, wait a minute, isn't this supposed to be just announcements from Walt Disney World?
Well, it's not supposed to be just announcements, but it's supposed to be more focused on Walt Disney World, and it's supposed to be less grandiose ideas than they have at the D23 Expo. So it shouldn't be a surprise that they weren't huge announcements, but given that last year's D23 Expo was also kind of like not really announcements, I was kind of shocked that they also didn't do announcements. There's a lot of stuff that I was shocked by, and I don't know how much of it we want to talk about now and how much in the list, but like
well, probably now. Well, no, it's
if we're gonna talk about the list
in
the second half, I do want to ask you what you thought of the slap in the face of let's open up with the Muppets. Let's have the Muppets come on stage 8 times. Let's have the Muppets involved with everything. And oh, by the way, we have nothing to do with Muppets.
Right.
Like, to me, that was a slap in the face. Everybody's like, yes, they're going to say something about Muppets.
So 2 things. One, I was very excited that the Muppets were there because I'm a Muppets fan. So is my son. We really
you were texting me. You're like, Muppets, when are they going to say it? When are they going to say it?
So I had written out a text to you that I had to delete that said I was ready to hit that button.
That we called it.
That the Muppets are coming to Rock and Roller Coaster. I had it written out.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting for it to happen, and I was going to hit that button to send it to you. And then, like, nothing ever happened.
No.
Like,
we saw puppeteers.
Well, and then they honored Dave
chairs.
Gels. So Dave Gels he does Gonzo and Beauregard, Dr. Bunsen Honeydew. They honored him for 50 years.
Which is great.
It's great. And he's one of the few, well, I don't want to say that. That's not true because Frank Oz is still going. And Frank Oz is Fozzie and Miss Piggy. And he's obviously a director and most recently was in the Star Wars film. Who also does Yoda.
So here's my thing with this, right? If you're going to do it, if you had the Muppets there just to honor him, which is good, that's fine, then only bring them out. Only bring them out when you're honoring him.
And it was every time
skit.
They brought out, like...
They had Animal playing the drums?
Yes.
So I was like, holy cow, this is happening.
Like when they brought out the Imagineer who's working on the Hatbox Ghost. I can't remember his name, but that gentleman, the guy who came out to talk, he's the one who spearheaded the whole thing with redoing Hatbox Ghost and the technology behind it.
Yeah.
If you watch on
He's
Disney
a really good
Plus,
Imagineer. Yeah.
If you watch on Disney Plus, they have a whole lot of interviews with him on it. The guy's great. But then they brought out, I think Gonzo was part of that one, and then they did Uncle what's his name?
Yeah.
He's a newer character who I like. I can't remember
Yeah.
What his name is. And then
that was awkward, right?
It was. And
they're just grilling him about all the stuff that the Disney fandom thinks is wrong with with Magic or with the Haunted Mansion at the Magic Kingdom.
And then it was Kermit and Miss Piggy. And then after that, I think it was Sam Eagle and Dr. Bunsen Honeydew.
Yep.
And they mentioned your pickle shake.
Yeah.
That was funny. And who else came out? I'm trying to remember what other...
Animal was playing the drums.
Animal was playing the drums, right. They did... Oh my gosh, I can't remember now. I don't want to blank on all this. But anyway, it was very exciting. And I figured that the final ending, when they brought out all the cast members, I mean, they did Figment at the end, which is, we'll get to, it's not a huge announcement. It's something they already announced that they just gave a date to, which is the day we're recording right now.
Yeah, Sunday.
Yeah, so I figured the end was, and I feel like at the beginning he even said, stay tuned for a Muppets musical number. I feel like they said that at the beginning.
They said something along the lines of, we'll be back. It won't be the last time you hear from the Muppets.
Yeah.
And there'll be more music.
And I thought, I was like, oh, Dr. Teeth and Electric Mayhem are going to come out and they're going to announce the Rock and Roller Coaster.
Nope.
Crazy.
I was shocked because why put all that emphasis on the Muppets throughout the whole thing?
It was just weird.
And can we talk about the weird, like, you're Disney. Hire some camera operators.
Oh
what the heck?
It was really bad.
Yeah. I get it's live, but that was bad.
Yeah, it was really bad.
It was like when you watch like the first, like this weekend's the opening weekend of football. So the new camera operators and the producers and stuff, they're going to be off. And they're going to be, at least once this weekend, you're going to be looking at a wide receiver while play is going on, like totally somewhere else because the guy thought that the wide receiver was getting passed to and it was actually a play action.
Yeah, right.
Right. You're going to have that. This is Disney. What? They didn't, like, they clearly were scripted. Everything was clearly a script, and they didn't know where, like, the director who's in the back isn't saying, ready camera 2, take camera 2. Ready camera 3, take camera 3. Like, they're not doing that. They're just like, okay, I'm just going to hit this button, and you happen to be looking at random stuff. Or the guy who's got Kermit, and you're looking at him wheel out on stage with his hand up his you know.
Well, it was almost like they just got a bunch of students from Dr. Phillips High School to come in and like run camera and spotlight and.
We almost just had a spit take. I was in the middle of a drink when he said Dr. Phillips High School.
Yeah, everything in Florida's Dr. Phillips. He's I think we've talked about it on the show before, but anyway, I won't get into Dr. Phillips now. But some good things from D23 that we will talk about in the second half of the show.
Absolutely.
So. Some good, and the main weird one that we wanted to say here in the first half of the show was just great to have the Muppets, great to hear the Muppets, great for Dave Gell's 50 years, but it was a build up to nothing.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
So I wanted to congratulate you on your new rank. You ranked up.
I did. Yeah. So we have, both of us have been. We have been awarded the rank.
Yes.
From one of our listeners.
A patron.
Yes, one of our patrons, who is, honestly, it's someone I've known a long time. His name is Mike V, and we got a package in the mail.
Yeah.
A gift from Mike V.
I was unaware I'm in the Imperial military.
So we opened the package, and our friend Todd got one too. Shout out to Todd. And inside this package, wrapped up, are, how big? Probably like 3 inch across, 2.5 inches.
Yeah.
On heavy pieces of metal.
Yeah.
With
magnets. There are ranks. There are rank pins.
Yeah.
For our...
So if you watch any Star Wars and you look at any of the people who are part of the military, they have these little, insignias. And it's funny because I don't know if you've watched Ahsoka yet, but some of they have, it looks like a number 5 on, the side of a die or dice, whatever we want to say.
Yeah.
That's what they look like on their uniforms. And we got this from Mike V. He sent them, and it clips right to your shirt. It's really
it's
cool.
Gonna be great. I think for Halloween we should wear black shirts and just our insignias.
So you are what, Imperial Army?
I'm an Army lieutenant, I
Army
believe.
lieutenant, and I'm a Imperial Navy lieutenant.
Correct, I believe.
So
it could be vice versa, but
yeah, that's true.
We're lieutenants.
Yep. So thanks to our patron
Mike V
for sending us cool little gift. We appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll see you after the halftime show.
Want to make a podcast? Spotify's got a platform that lets you make one super easily, then distribute it everywhere, and even earn money all in one place for free. It's called Spotify for Podcasters. And here's how it works. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit podcasts right from your phone or your computer, so no matter what your setup is like, you can start recording today. Then distribute your podcast to Spotify and everywhere else podcasts are heard. Video podcasts are also available on Spotify. And when you want to take conversations with your fans to the next level, Q&A and polls are the best way to get them talking. With Spotify for Podcasters, you can earn money in various ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions. And best of all, it's totally free with no catch. I highly recommend you give it a try. Download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to spotify.com/podcasters to get started.
Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about the top 5 takeaways we have from the D23 or Destination D23, not the D23 Expo.
And I have more than 5, so I think at the start of the show I might have just said top because in my head I'm thinking I'm kind of cheating.
Well, yeah, it's fine.
There's a lot of things I'm interested about, and you said it earlier. There's nothing enormous,
right? I think maybe we shouldn't call it a top 5. We should just say our top takeaways.
All right,
it could.
I like that.
I did list them in a top 5 manner, just in case.
Yeah, but we're going to overlap on a lot of them anyways.
Yeah.
So when we discuss them, we'll kind of give our 2 cents.
I would
for the
bet
whole thing.
There's only one on my list that doesn't overlap with yours, and I'll bet there's still a chance that it could. I'm not willing to bet that I don't overlap. Like, I think we're going to overlap on a lot of them.
I have one that is probably not on your list too, which was something we.
Okay.
No, I don't even want to get to it.
All right, we'll
see.
Let's just dive right in.
All right, then I'm going to start with the one I don't think is on your list, which I put as number 5. But again, we're kind of breaking our rules this episode, which is fine. So I put as my number 5. I put adding Ahsoka to Star Tours, which I'm guessing is not on your list.
It is not on my list.
So I'm really high on Ahsoka right now.
Oh, it's great.
Oh, you're watching it?
Yeah.
I didn't think you were.
Yeah. I'm watching it.
Are you caught up on episode 4?
I am not.
Which really dates us.
I'm not. So because this week's been a long week with coaching and everything else. So because basically I'm coaching 2 teams now. I've got
you got your kids team and my kids team.
Yeah. So
my kid is on the varsity team. Nick is a varsity coach, and my daughter happens to be on that team.
So anyway, I have not seen episode 4.
Okay.
But that will be happening. I was going to say today, but then I woke up and my son said, "Hey, Dad, 3.5 hours." And I was like, "What?" He's like,
"Football
kickoff." And I was like, "Yeah, you're right, but the Bills don't play today."
Yeah.
He's like, "I don't care. I'm going to watch this game. Then I'm going to watch this game." So, anyway,
we just got to root against Dolphins, root against the Patriots.
I do think adding Ahsoka there is great. That's not the announcement I would have wanted.
Yeah, but like I said, I'm excited for some new blood in that ride. And I'm glad that they update it. They did with the last movie.
I think it's great that they do that. I think it would be greater if they, I don't know, brought Ahsoka to Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah, they're saying that's coming. I don't know specifically when they said, but they're gonna bring Ahsoka at some point. They did say that yesterday.
But I don't know. I think that it's not. You're right. It's not on my list. It is something on. It's not on my top 5 list. It is certainly something I'm excited for because I do like that ride. A lot of people were making comments that it makes them sick, that ride's harder for them to do than any other ride at Disney as far as motion sickness.
What? No way.
Which is weird because, like, I usually do get some motion sickness in those kind of simulators, and I don't in that one. So it's very odd.
Does that include, like, Mad Tea Party? That's my worst.
Oh, no. I mean, that's a different kind of motion sickness, I think.
Yeah.
So that's more like dizziness. I'm talking, like, the motion sickness you get from, Guardians, Cosmic Rewind, or the motion sickness you get if
that
you
was
like
mild for me. I think
with the projection screens and stuff.
I don't usually get that with the projection screens.
Some people get sick on Avatar, Flight of Passage. Anyhow, I think it's a good idea, and I think I like that they're taking advantage of the fact they can refresh the ride rather cheaply.
Yeah.
By adding new scenes in. Why not?
They mentioned at one point too that they were going to do the same thing and add Mandalorian scenes in there too. And
I want Rogue One.
Oh yeah, it's a great movie. Why not?
Like, I don't know, like,
put them all in there.
To me, Rogue One.
It's one of the best films.
Yeah, absolutely. So my number 5 takeaway from this was that they recognize something that we talked about recently on a show, which was that they need to do something with Tortuga Tavern.
Oh,
I suspect that they. Yeah. I suspect that. Oh, you do have it on there?
No, it's on my honorable mention. But I don't get super excited about the bars and things. And
I don't think it's gonna be a bar. I think it's gonna be a bar. But
it's gonna be a bar themed. But I bet you it's gonna be a bar themed restaurant in Tortuga Tavern.
This is what I'm saying. Like, I think they're finally recognizing that, like, hey, we have this real estate here available to us. Mm-hmm. Let's make it a nicely themed place to eat. Right?
They should make it fun and have the pirates as the wait staff.
There's so many things they could do.
That would be so cool.
There's so many things they could do. I'm just excited that they recognize that they need more solid dining in Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, I agree.
Because
it's a good spot,
and it's not because of the bar side of things, although I think that's cool.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people who were upset. Oh, great, more alcohol in Magic Kingdom. Thought you weren't going to do that. Thought Walt didn't want it. Walt also didn't want a museum.
Yeah.
Walt didn't want to pick a fight with Ron DeSantis, but we don't have a problem. I don't know what to tell you. Walt's not alive. Now they're doing things for the people who own stock.
I know.
This is something that makes sense. There's not a lot of great food options in that park. There just aren't.
No.
Now they didn't say it's definitely going to Tortuga, but
where else is it going to go?
I mean, there's no other place unless they take out like the end of ride place or the end of ride shop at the end of Pirates. So I think it's great. I'm glad they're doing it. I think it's going to be, a welcome addition, and the infrastructure is there.
Yeah.
So
there's already a kitchen in the back. And
yep. So that's my number 5. I am excited to see what the Imagineers come up with.
So we mentioned this one a little bit earlier too, and I know this one is on your list. My number 4 is over in Epcot, and they're going to be doing an update to Test Track. Now, Test Track right now, when you're waiting in line, you get to see kind of what a cool futuristic car would look like in person. They have the mock-up in front of you, and then you design your own car. And to be fair, that system works pretty well. When you design your car and you do the sliders back and forth, the touchscreen system works well. Now, the thing that I think is dated is when you're riding the ride, it just looks cheap. It's fun, but everything just looks like, almost lack of a better term, Tron, right?
I don't disagree that it's a little Tronish. Yeah.
It's just it needs
like when you're talking about when you're going through the test.
Yes,
before
through
you go
the actual
outside.
ride part, right? Before you go and race on the track, right?
So I don't know what the update's going to be, but the concept artwork looked like there were trees and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know how.
So I wonder if it's like going to be like more of an off-road theme.
Could be.
With Chevy concentrating more in the SUV realm. I'm not sure if it's going to be that. I'm not sure if it's going to be like electric car type talking.
Well, they also mentioned World of Motion was going to be their influence, and it's been a long time since I actually rode World of Motion. So
it's been a long time since anyone's ridden World of Motion.
So I'll be honest, I can't recall off the top of my head most of that ride. So I would have to go onto YouTube and look up one of those Disney, old VHS ride throughs that people put up. But that was my number 4 test track. Freshening up, and I mean we can get to this now if you want to get to this.
So
now.
I'm just gonna look.
I think I know what you're gonna say here.
Well, this particular episode is kind of a weird one in that we're ranking things. I'll be honest. I'm gonna spoil what my rank was for test track because it was on my. Yeah. I'm most excited. That's the most exciting thing I think we got out of the day.
Was test track?
Was test track, in my opinion.
Okay.
Because here's why. It's an e-ticket attraction.
Yep.
That's getting updated, right?
Great.
Now, the reason I think it's getting updated has nothing to do with Disney. It's everything to do with GM.
Yeah, it's money.
They're willing to pay it. So Rob sent me a text yesterday that said, just by going on the ride, you have agreed to lease a new truck, a Chevy Silverado.
Yes.
Because we always joke about the hard sell at the end of the ride. But I am excited. There are a lot of people who are like, well, why are they doing this? They needed to pay attention to other rides there. That's true, but this is not Disney's money. Yeah. This is GM's money.
Well, in a perfect world, they would actually do something to Imagination and make Imagination what it needs to be. And the original sponsor of Imagination is a local company to Western New York, and that is the Kodak Company. So Kodak used to sponsor.
How many times have they filed Chapter 11?
Yeah, without getting into the history of Kodak, they stuck with their guns and they stayed with film when the majority of the rest of the industry went digital. So they're still kicking. They have some cool cameras that they offer. They still make the film.
They do make digital now.
They do, but they struggled for a while, and I have a lot of respect for that company. It's a big part of this part of the state here.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
They were the sponsor, and I always thought that was cool. We would go down and be like, oh yeah, that's the company where we're from, and we would go down to the Imagination Pavilion. So I wish they would have pumped some money into that instead of. I know this conversation again it's sort of a non-linear conversation, but at the very end, they bring out Figment.
Yeah,
another friend of the show, our friend Eric from Ear Scouts, sent me a message about how frightening the Figment was, which I think you agree with.
Yeah, and so they dropped the ball, right? Because here's the thing, and this is what I told Rob ahead of time. I said I was going to mention it when we talk about our honorable mention, but this episode is going to be a little bit different than some of the other ones.
It's fine.
So here they are, right? They've got the Muppets. They're honoring the Imagineer Dave Gels for his 50 years of service, which is amazing.
Yep.
And he was involved with Figment, which could have been a puppet being held by Dreamfinder. And then
Dave Gels has a beard. He could have walked out as Dreamfinder.
Right. And then they could have had it instead of the Muppets grilling somebody about Haunted Mansion. But guys, there's no such thing as Dreamfinder in the parks. And then Josh Tomorrow says, oh, but wait, we're redoing Journey into Imagination and we're bringing back Dreamfinder.
The crowd would have went nuts.
Yes, exactly. Maybe that's more of a D23 Expo in Anaheim announcement, but still.
You know what? How can they not? I mean, we've discussed the bottom 3 rated rides, which we'll do an episode on at some point. But it's been so long. I mean, if you, I don't want to get into another episode. We can talk about Imagination and how it needs major help.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try to pull us back onto track.
Onto test track.
See what I did there?
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull us back.
That was my 4.
That was your number 4.
Right. So if we're So what was your 4?
My number 4 was the announcement of the replacement of Dino Land being Tropical Americas.
That was my 1.
Okay, so
we were both our 4s or our 1s.
Good. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, not good, but whatever.
Yeah.
So Tropical Americas, I think, is very similar to the same vibe that I had said made sense. I knew that they had to go one of two directions. They have to go with like the South Pacific, or they've got to go with something tropical because it's hot. So I'm excited. I don't really think it will be thematically consistent with the rest of Animal Kingdom, where the rest of Animal Kingdom is going to be about conservation. That's why it didn't get higher, because the rest of Animal Kingdom is about conservation and the relationship between man and animal. And then they talk about Encanto and
I saw Encanto once.
And then they talk about like Indy, and it's like, okay.
This may be a hot take, and some listeners may be upset. I didn't love Encanto. I thought it was okay, right? I didn't love it.
Can't talk about that.
Correct. I get that joke, actually, because I have seen it once. And my son said there is, I forgot, I said, was there any even animals in that movie? He said there was. There was some, was it the chameleon? No, that's.
I'm going to be honest with you. I've seen it completely, but I have not seen it in one complete sitting, because I can't. It's not. I didn't think it was a good movie.
Okay,
I just don't. I agree with you.
Then we both agree.
So I do think that since they have IP that involves a home style and a building style and an architecture style of the area, that it does make sense to
have that house,
have that
from the movie.
kind of stuff. I don't think so. Like, for instance, Donald Duck has nothing to do with conservation. But Donald Duck has a restaurant called Tusker House. It makes sense for them to maybe have a character meal with characters from Encanto.
Sure.
Does it make sense to have Encanto attractions in a theme park that has not leaned on IP other than one place, the Tree of Life, which I think we'll probably both get to eventually too.
Yeah, but, well, Avatar counts, I guess, right?
Oh, yeah, shoot. But either way, even Avatar had to do with conservation.
Yeah, right.
So I'm glad they're doing it. I'm glad who knows if they're doing it. This at least looked like a more complete plan.
Yes.
And
well, the Indiana Jones thing is the thing that makes the most sense.
Yeah,
and the
costs
reason
them
why,
almost nothing.
Right. And the reason why I put it at number 1 is because I've ridden that ride, and it's fantastic. And it's a very easy fix. You keep the ride system in place. You basically gut the interior. You turn the lights on, and you make a big skeleton thing inside, and you got Indiana Jones.
Yeah, it is also not too difficult to make a consistent part of the park, right? What I mean by that is, like, could you imagine if there was no, tunnel, I guess I'll call it, walkway between Toy Story Land and Galaxy's Edge? You just were walking and first there's Slinky Dog, and all of a sudden there's the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
That would look weird, right? Whereas the way that Dino Land is currently set up and where Dinosaur is, it's
you
kind
walk through the jungle.
Yeah, which is kind of off in a way. So it's not going to be thematically problematic.
Yep.
Where there's these casitas, and then all of a sudden there's this ride that is, the Indiana Jones ride. I don't think it's going to be a problem. I am a little shocked because historically they have tried to keep, with the exception of the Fab Five, they have tried to keep IP in certain parks. So we've already got Indy in Hollywood Studios. Now we're going to have Indy in Animal Kingdom. So I think that's a little bit odd.
Yeah. Well, they do Toy Story in multiple parks. And, at this point it is what it is.
Yeah.
There's a chance Magic Kingdom could do Frozen in the back corner, that they already have that. They could, I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah. So that was my number 4 was Tropical Americas. It was your number 1. So far, if you're keeping track at home, my number 4 was Rob's number 1. Rob's number 4 was my number 1.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're on to number 3.
Number 3 is, it's a plus and it's a minus. So number 3 is the new Country Bear show that they're going to do. So the plus is this. The plus is they're not getting rid of it. So those characters I just love. The minus is we're losing this fun show. But then again, I don't know what they're going to leave and what they're going to cut out. I mean, they could the first song that they do, "Clap Your Hands and Stomp Your Feet," like that could be still part of this Country Bear show. But I have a feeling that they're going to do some. When I say contemporary, this could mean even like Garth Brooks. They're going to include contemporary country songs.
They've already recorded the album.
They did?
They've already recorded.
Oh, they showed it. That's right.
They've already recorded all of it.
I'm curious what
it's going to be Disney IP.
Really?
Yeah.
In a country style.
Yes, correct.
Interesting.
Bluegrass, Western. Yes.
Okay. I don't hate it. I'm excited that I'm not losing this attraction.
So I'm going to tell you that
I'll live with it. It's fine.
I think the option. So this is my number 3 as well.
Okay.
So we matched up here. This is for me a huge win for someone like you, because the reality is this: they had 2 choices.
Yep.
Dump the songs, redo everything.
A lot of the songs are like off color.
Yes. Dump the songs and redo everything, or flatten it. Gone. See you later.
Right.
And at least they're not getting rid of it completely, because those were the 2 options. At no point was the option, let's keep Blood on the Saddle or All the Guys That Turn Me On, Turn Me Down.
Right.
At no option were those.
Yeah.
At no point was that an option. So the fact that they're not demolishing this, and the fact that they're going through and they're going to put new animatronics in.
Good. Yeah, because they need a little bit of love. You can hear them click when they sing.
So I was watching someone do a deep dive on it last night on YouTube, and they were saying that those are old school hydraulic animatronics.
Yeah.
And they are very difficult to maintain.
Yep.
And expensive to maintain. They're going to be replaced with the more economical servo-based animatronics. And the good thing with those is, A, it's all about computer programming as far as how the servos will work, and so you can make them do different things.
Right.
B, they're going to invest in new animatronics, which means that those things are going to be there for another 30 years. So it's not only is it not going away next year, it's not going away for a long time. And I could see them do overlays.
I was just going to say that. The Christmas, they can bring that back. Or another one was Country Bear's Vacation they used to do too.
So, I mean, I think it's going to be I think it's a very good thing. I am sad that I won't, after next year, and very possibly next year when I go, it won't be open next summer, because it says that it's coming in 2024. I am quite sad that when I go to Disney, I'm not going to be able to hear those off-color songs.
I'm hoping
I think they're hilarious.
That you won't. You definitely won't, and especially the one with the triplets. That's definitely going to be gone.
Yeah.
But I would like to think that the intro song will remain.
Yeah, I don't see why that one couldn't. I don't see why that one couldn't stay. But you're not going to hear Blood on the Saddle. You're not going to hear
and that's
the triplets.
Okay.
You're not going to.
But they're going to. I bet you anything. They're going to heavily feature Big Al, because he is such a beloved character that you're going to see a lot more Big Al. You're going to see more Liver Lips. The ones that are the ones that roam around the park. I think there's 3 or 4 of them. Wendell's a scary looking one.
Wendell looks like he's
on the border of Haunted Mansion. He's very scary looking.
Cocaine bear.
His teeth. Oh my God.
Yeah. I'm excited for it. I really am. That's why I put it at number 3.
Yep.
Since we both matched up on number 3, man, we're flying through this, but that's okay because we got some stuff to talk about, I think, about our takeaways.
I think our 2 is also going to be the same.
I assume so because we haven't talked about it yet.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Zootopia going into the Tree of Life and taking where the Bug's Life place.
Brilliant.
And the projection show. I think they said that, didn't they?
I don't remember them saying that.
Because I feel like they showed an image of Zootopia being projected on the tree.
No. I don't.
That's okay. I may have misinterpreted that graphic, but I think the most important thing for this is that
there was a crowd sitting in the seats, and then they were being like they were coming out of the screen to indicate they were 3D.
There was one moment where I had to take a quick phone call during the thing, and in a quick panic, I had to run downstairs to see what size shoes my daughter had. But it's fine. So I may have missed it, and it's good. But I think it's a smart move to put them into the tree. Because I can't count the number of times I've been there with hysterical crying kids coming out of the Bug's Life show.
And I mean it's
very scary.
I like that. I think the Hopper animatronic is great.
Oh, it's fantastic.
But I think Zootopia going in there is brilliant because you cannot nobody can complain about IP,
Yep.
about that IP going in there, and saying, well, this isn't about conservation. Like, you've got Bugs Life already there, and I get Bugs Life is maybe a little bit more about IP because there's some like interaction of man and animal, but like this is a brilliant place to put it. Put it in there.
Yeah.
And guess what? When was the last time you went to Bugs Life?
Last time I was there.
Okay, you went.
We did it.
Okay, how many people were in that theater?
Half full.
Yeah, half, right?
Yeah.
Now, you put a new thing in. At least for a few years, that thing is not going to be half full anymore.
Right. No.
It's going to be full.
And
that's a huge theater.
You need more people.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yep.
And getting more people to go down by the Tree of Life is never a bad thing. Those trails down there, and like being able to go and see all the animals carved into that tree. I think Animal Kingdom does a bad job at promoting that tree as the weenie to end all weenies, right?
Yeah.
Because it's a scavenger hunt. They have scavenger hunts at Disney, or at Epcot, I mean, right? They've got the fine Remy during the Food and Wine. They've got this is something they've done in the past. Why don't they have here's a little 8x10 card stock with pictures of different animals that are on the Tree of Life. Find them, check them off.
I mean, that card stock would have probably 100 different animals on it.
Right. So just fine. Yeah. Like if they did that, that would get people to go on on those trails and go to that attraction, because some of the animals you can only see by going to that attraction.
Yeah.
So to me, changing this does a lot of things. It helps with capacity, and it keeps the haters of because that Zootopia land that they previewed from, is that Shanghai?
Yeah, it looked awesome.
It looked great for not for Animal Kingdom though.
No, I mean, but if they did that in Animal Kingdom, that would be definite. We're planting the flag in the ground that says we're totally changing what this park is.
Right. So it looked great for a park like Magic Kingdom or Hollywood Studios. Didn't look great for a park like Animal Kingdom.
But keep in mind, though, that MGM Studios completely changed to Hollywood Studios. They changed the entire park. So that Disney's done this before.
Oh, they could.
Because that park was supposed to be somewhere where they do film shows and they animate actual movies, which they did in that park, and they made a pivot. So the overall theme is still movies, but it's a totally different thing. Like Animal Kingdom is all about living with animals and conservation. They could keep the overall theme of animals, but then pivot, which I think you're starting to see, especially with throwing in Encanto and Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I don't look. I'm not arguing that that's not maybe what they're doing, but I think to build that Zootopia land in Animal Kingdom would have been a big mistake.
Yeah,
because the way it looks, especially when you already have such amazingly well-themed areas like Africa. And for me,
I think they made the right choice, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, every day that I spend in Animal Kingdom, it goes higher up my list of man, is this maybe my favorite park? I don't even know. It is so fun to just sit there and walk around.
Agree.
So, yeah. Anyway, that was both of our number twos.
Yep. And my number one was I just put equator themed or middle America.
Yeah, it was tropical
themed,
Americas. Yeah.
Sure.
Yep.
Dino Land, basically going away. That was my number one.
My number one was Test Track.
But we have a lot more too.
Yeah, let's discuss the other ones.
So I'll do the next one. When they announced, they started talking about Disney California Adventure, and they started talking about that new Avengers ride. They talk about a jump, a technology. You're thinking the same thing, right?
Yeah, this was huge, but for us, it didn't make my list because it's not something I'm gonna. It's
I
on the other coast. You know what I mean?
I think that they're basically going to take the Guardians of the Galaxy ride, and they're going to overlay it with Avengers and have giant King Thanos, where I forgot the name of the villain that's in the Cosmic Rewind. Cool villain.
Yeah, I forget.
The Eternals or
no,
Eternals was the movie. These were the Ethereals.
Either way.
Both of our sons will know off the top of their head. Anyway, I think they're just going to take that ride system and do an Avengers overlay on the West Coast.
I'm not sure if that's what. I'm not sure if that's what they will do, but
based on the artwork, it's very similar.
It sounded like it.
The artwork was very similar to the artwork that they put out before Guardians was released.
The only thing I would say is that it looked like it has more seats across. Looked like it was more of a test track where they had 3 across, I believe, in the concept. I have to look again.
Okay.
But
Well, they're known to do that too.
And it looked like it had some Wakanda stuff going on too, because it's black and purple.
Okay.
But I agree wholeheartedly that when they start talking about making jumps and going through portals, like that's Cosmic Rewind, and I think that would fit in wonderfully over at DCA. So I was excited for that. I was also very excited about one thing, and that is that next time I am in Epcot, I will be able to walk through the middle of Epcot.
Oh, yeah.
World Celebration is supposed to be open by the end of this year. And so that's that's good. And I don't mean just the Moana stuff, but World Celebration. Right. The Walt statue is going to be there. The planters will have stuff in them.
Yep.
No more walls and scrim in that center area. There will still be some walls up in certain areas, but not right there in the middle. That's super exciting to me that Epcot will finally start to feel like Epcot.
Here's another Epcot. They're bringing Soarin' over California to Epcot. They announced that later in the day.
Yeah,
did you see that?
At the Epcot panel.
I went, oh boy. Yeah. So it's, so if you didn't listen to the episodes where I talk about what it was like out on the West Coast at California Adventure, Soarin' over California is a little clunky. Like all of the footage is great. It's beautiful, but the way it's edited and the way it fits with the music is pretty clunky. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe they'll make some changes to it. But
they've done this before, right? And this isn't the first time. No. So, they're
doing it for the anniversary, they said. It's not a permanent thing. And,
right.
And a lot of times it's not a permanent thing in California. They rotate it out there, too.
I mean, that convention space that's a tent in the back of Epcot is also not permanent.
Which literally is permanent.
Yeah. Or the temporary food booths that aren't permanent. So I hope they don't go permanent. I don't think they will. I think Test Track needs an update, actually. Or not Test Track. Soarin' needs an update, actually. So I'm fine with that. So we've touched on it a little bit. What are your thoughts? So I think I know your thoughts. We didn't really talk about what Figment actually looks like. That Figment meet and greet. Yeah. I just said they missed the mark and should have been a puppet.
Right.
You thought it looked good.
I thought it looked good, but I feel like it's the best it can be, because if you were to take that actual character in the ride and you were to expand it, right, and just take the scale proportionally bigger, it's not perfect, but it's close-ish. So the head is very small, but when you look at the costume that the cast member is wearing when they're Figment, the turtleneck portion of the sweater, there's a red stripe. Yeah. I believe that's where the head is.
Oh, sir, it's got to be, yeah.
And then above that is Figment's head.
Yeah, so, sort of. I mean, so here's what it reminds me of.
I don't hate it. I'll end with that. Yeah. Go ahead.
You aren't going full-blown Eric.
No.
Hating it.
Eric hates it.
Yeah.
He says it's frightening. I don't love it. It's like, it's okay.
So as a kid, did you ever have G.I. Joes and He-Man stuff at the same time? Or Star Wars things?
I had
action characters.
I had 3 giant collections, and I did not mix.
Okay. Did you have friends, or did you ever perhaps know someone who would, if something broke or if the head popped off, they would think it'd be funny to like switch and put a
Barbie head on it?
Yeah. So that is what this Figment reminds me of, is that it's like somebody took an action figure, popped the head off of a G.I. Joe, painted the arms purple, and snapped on top of it a new head and said, here's Figment.
Yeah. But I think that's what Figment is. That's kind of the way he's shaped in the ride, too.
I guess my main problem with it is you can't say, well, it's because his neck is weird, blah, 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 when you have Kevin in Animal Kingdom that looks like Kevin.
Yeah, right.
Like, so to me, I don't know why they couldn't have pulled it off a little bit better. I'm happy we got it. I was shocked when he said, oh, by the way, your meet and greet start tomorrow. I'm a little confused about another meet and greet. So
Moana?
Yeah. What? So does Moana, is she homeless? Because like she's in one place, then she's in another place. So are they moving her now from Animal Kingdom to Epcot, or is she going to be in both spots?
I think it's going to be like Mickey and Pluto and the whole gang.
So she's going to be all over the place.
Well,
because she's super popular, which is fine. She is.
I was gonna I was gonna make a comparison to something that has to do with a holiday season and the mall.
Oh yeah. I mean,
but with our listeners, you'll know why
yes.
I'm
yeah
hinting at that.
Yeah, I just think, look, I don't know that's. I just don't get it, right? Why are they moved? Why just give her a spot and let her stay there? I think she belongs in Epcot given the Moana area, but then they should have held off on having the meet and greet instead of like shoehorning her into this weird spot in Animal Kingdom.
So picture in your head for a minute, Wreck-It Ralph, the walk around Wreck-It Ralph.
Okay, the character, the meet and greet Wreck-It Ralph. Yeah.
Now picture in your head that same shape, size, width as Maui. That would be cool.
It would be.
I
thought you were going to go with Hulk, but that would be really cool.
Well, it would be cool with Hulk too.
Yeah. Not wearing his
that might be my least favorite. Jeez. People hate Figment. I hate the Hulk in the shrinking suit.
Yeah, whatever it was.
That's my least favorite of all time. It's garbage.
So, yeah, I don't know. I'm also excited that they finally put some dates on stuff.
Yeah, a lot of things.
So we've been dancing around not talking about the other thing.
Yes, I know, and I'm looking right at it now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming we're talking about the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Beyond Thunder Mountain.
Yes.
Yeah. So they said it was going to be one of the biggest expansions, right? Coco's still a possibility. Encanto sounds like
probably not,
and they're yanking that and putting it in Animal Kingdom. I still think, I think Villains Land is probably, I would write it in pen, but I would write in pencil. I still think there's a chance Cars Land can go there.
I
have it written right here.
So
you too?
There was a word that Josh D'Amaro used after they mentioned that, oh, by the way, we haven't forgotten about this. Here's the thing. They're redoing Country Bears. There's rumors about them redoing Pecos Bills.
Into a Tiana restaurant?
And I think that you're going to see Frontierland changed from Frontierland to a New Orleans Square.
Okay.
And I think that then we've already talked about how the stone on Big Thunder is very similar to the Red Rocks.
Very, very similar.
And then Josh D'Amaro said, just know that the plans we have for behind Big Thunder Mountain are going into overdrive. He said the word overdrive, and I was like,
really?
That is a crumb.
Yeah.
Like, I could be totally reading into it, but when they said it's bigger than New Fantasyland,
mm-hmm.
that little snippet of him saying overdrive made me go, was that them giving a nod to Cars Land is coming?
Be great.
Now, I would prefer a Villains area.
I think both.
Maybe.
I think both. I think north of the Riverboat and Haunted Mansion is Villains.
Which would tie right into the Haunted Mansion area.
There's room if you look at the footprint from above.
Yep.
And there's also room for Cars Land. So the important thing to know about Cars Land is that comes along with 3 rides. 4? No, 3. Luigi.
If they did a clone.
Luigi, Mater, and then Radiator Springs. But Radiator Springs Racers is similar to Test Track, but not that similar. Not that similar. So there's 2 cars racing at once. There's 2 separate tracks when you go in the inside and see all the characters. There's 2. And then the cars stop and then you race. But the racing is different than just going the loop around the track. The thing that's the same on the inside is when the tractor trailer comes at you. So Mac comes at you.
Yeah.
The rest of it's pretty different on the inside. So they could make it different enough that you're not doing the same ride in 2 parks.
I don't care.
I don't either. Look at Magic Carpets and Dumbo and try Triceratops Spin.
Yeah.
Why not?
I don't care. I really don't. because
Cars Land's incredible. It's one of the highest rated of all the parks.
the reason that this stuff didn't make our list, I suspect, I know why it didn't make mine. It didn't make my list because there's literally
Because they didn't say anything. It was I'm just guessing still.
It's was literally just oh, by the way, we didn't forget about you, Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
And we have something. The thing that I liked was we have something bigger than New Fantasyland planned. And I think part of the reason they didn't make a lot of announcements, I don't know what your thought is on this, is the current political situation with the former Ron DeSantis and the former
adding more jobs,
the former Reedy Creek, and it's like we can hold them hostage, and which I don't like, but it is what it is. So there's one more thing that we didn't talk about.
Yep.
So, and I think it's probably way up on your list of like your excitement, but not way up on your list because we knew it was coming anyway. All right, am I wrong?
Luminous?
Oh, there's two new things that we forgot to talk about.
Yeah, Luminous is on my
I was going to
list.
say the whole Hatbox Ghost stuff.
All right, we can start there. A couple things with Hatbox Ghost. It was funny that the entire thing kicked off with Hatbox Ghost and Haunted Mansion. Then immediately they transitioned over to Country Bears. And I paused to myself and I went, are they making this thing for me? Are they putting all my favorite things in there at once?
I mean, they brought Zootopia, they did Tropical Americas, they're bringing
Indiana Jones. It's like all the stuff I like.
Yeah.
It was cool. So, but they also made a comment based on a lot of the negativity that went along with making Hatbox Ghost at the beginning of the ride. Because many people have said that Madame Leota in the Crystal Ball is summoning
correct
the happy haunts.
Right, but he's not happy.
And then
my God.
And then the joke was, does this make the 1000th
right
happy haunt? But then the Imagineer, who knows his stuff, said no, he was originally part of the 999, but we don't know where he went. He wandered off or whatever.
Right.
Which is technically true. And
also that he's not happy.
Right. So he's at the beginning.
Because he's not happy.
They're going to put him next to the long hallway, which they also had in the concept art. You can see the candelabra at the end of the hall.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with it. That animatronic in real life is incredible. It's bright. It's very, very cool to see.
Are you shocked how long it's taking them?
No, because I had heard from, I can't remember specifically what source, but they made an announcement about a timetable, and somehow the word leaked from one of the Imagineers that was saying, we're not ready yet. I don't know why they're saying this. I can't remember where that came from, but...
Yeah, when it shut down earlier this year for a little bit, people were like, oh, Hatbox. And then,
and the Imagineers were like, we're not ready. Hang on.
Yeah.
Like, we have a lot to do.
Yeah. I'm a little shocked it took them that long. So now, we're going to move away from Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
We're going to move away from attractions.
Mm-hmm.
To nighttime spectaculars. Yay or nay on Illuminous?
Cool. Wait, Illuminous or Luminous?
I thought it was, Luminous. Sorry, Luminous.
And the O was a moon?
The O was the Epcot space. It was Spaceship Earth. Yeah,
okay.
If you look closely.
I'm trying to think of what the logo was. They didn't tell me much. I don't know specifically what the theme is, but I'll tell you that last show that many I don't want to say many because we always assume it's a lot of people, but it is. It looks like it's the Epcot ball with eclipsed by a moon. We're both right.
Yeah, it looks like it's the moon.
Okay.
But if you look closer, the texture is of the
cool.
Spaceship Earth.
Okay.
So okay.
All right, our combined brain powers worked.
Yeah. Luminous, the Symphony of Us.
Okay. I'm into it. I'm into it just because. Again, this is another hot take. The previous nighttime show.
Harmonious.
No, before that.
Oh, Illuminations. Or Epcot Forever.
The one that was around for a long, long time. What was the one that was around for years and years and years?
Illuminations, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
I didn't love that one. I'm one of the few people that liked this new one with or without the tacos. I love the music. You and I thought it was spectacular. we stood together. We were looking at each other like, what is going on? Yeah. Everyone hates this. This is fantastic.
Yeah, people are wrong about that.
Yeah, that was a good show.
I'll die on that hill.
So, I don't know. I'm trepidatious because the previous show that everybody loved, I thought it was okay. The new one I love.
So it went Illuminations.
That's the one I think is okay.
It closed.
Yeah.
Epcot Forever came.
That was a temporary one.
And it's back.
Did not see. I was there during that time, but didn't stay and see the show.
Then Harmonious, which I thought was great.
We saw that one together. That was great.
Harmonious, and now Luminous.
Okay.
Us at the end.
Yep.
I wonder if Luminous is going to be basically Harmonious without the tacos.
Could be.
I think it's going to be good. I really do. I think they recognize, wow, we screwed up. We didn't read the room. And so we really, truly need to think about, how are we affecting the view? How are we affecting the daytime experience at Epcot?
Yep. You can't see the American Pavilion anymore.
Because I think had they not had those nasty, ugly water tacos, had they not had those barges, I think people would have loved Harmonious. Now, some people didn't like it because of the soundtrack. They said the soundtrack wasn't good, and it was clunky, and it was awkward.
Disagree.
And felt like it ended 4 times. And when I watched it, I remember standing next to Rob and saying, people are wrong.
Yeah.
Because I was ready to hate it. Like, I went in like, I'm going to hate this. I can't wait to hate on it, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, whoa, this is amazing.
If you go see an orchestra or a symphony, that's kind of what happens. They'll have this giant crescendo, and then it's quiet for a little bit, and then they slowly go back into it again.
Yeah,
like
maybe people just weren't cultured enough.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Well, and that's what it reminded me of, and that's why it was beautiful.
Yeah, I think it's very good. And this one says, The Symphony of Us is the subtitle, so maybe it will be more like that. I'm excited for it. I really am. I'm here for any kind of really new, over-the-top, nighttime spectacular. I really wish they would have announced something about nighttime stuff over at Animal Kingdom, but I get it. Like, they're not doing that. So, who knows? We'll see what happens as far as that show goes.
I'm quickly zipping through my list and see if we missed anything. I don't see anything I had on my list. There could have been more that they talked about, but
I know that Josh D'Amaro at one point said, since we last met, we've brought you 200 special experiences. And the joke on a YouTube video I was watching last night was, that was a slap in the face. Like, 200 what? Did you plant 200 trees in the park? Because I don't think there's 200 things that you've done. You put up 200 pieces of scrim?
No, they're including special menu items probably.
I'm not really sure.
I bet you they are. They're including, we have a special 100 anniversary cupcake.
Well, we've got Grogu and Mando, so there's 2. Yeah. They're going to count that as 2. Yeah. We've got... Oh, we brought in Moana. There's 3.
I'm telling you, they're including cupcakes and cookies.
They're including all the people that are part of, or all the new people that are part of Mickey's Not So Scary. Look, the parks make them the money. They need to drop the coin on it. I think what's holding them back in Florida is, the elephant in the room of the political climate, the argument that they're in.
Yep.
And, Disney's holding their ground. I'm glad they're holding their ground, but maybe they should also hold their ground and pay their writers and pay their actors too.
Yeah, I think that's coming soon.
But anyway, so do you have anything else you wanted to talk about?
No, I don't think it was awful. I didn't know what to expect. I was kind of thinking it was going to be nothing because of the politics. Some of the rumors were that Disney wasn't really going to announce anything. And I mean, they sort of did. They sort of didn't. I mean, it's a lot of lateral moves.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you're looking at like the Indiana Jones announcement, that's still a lateral move because it already exists and it's easy to put in there.
Absolutely.
And it's the same thing with if they were to announce Cars Land, they already have that there. If they're talking the Avengers being Cosmic Rewind, it's already there. Like there wasn't a lot of things that were like brand new, test track. Think of all these announcements are things that Country Bears.
They announced Figment last year, and they re-announced them yesterday. So yeah. Here's what I would like to say. As far as this episode goes, I think we both would agree it's been a little bit more loose and less structured. And if this is something you enjoy, I think that you really owe it to yourself to check out our Patreon.
Yep.
Because we are certainly more conversational, less stick to the list kind of thing, and just kind of like we shoot from the hip there. It's much more laid back. So if you're thinking about possibly doing that, even if it's for a month, just to see what you like, www.patreon.com/dislistpod is where you can find out more about that. I'm telling you that we have a lot of fun doing that, and this episode was fun. It's a longer form of those Patreon ones, but really that's what it is just a longer form of one of those Patreon episodes, if you ask me.
And I actually clicked on it either this morning or last night. I clicked on the link to our Patreon, and because I was looking through the different, the special exclusive episodes.
Yep.
And I don't know why I forgot, but I did for a moment. That I'm like, well, why is the top 5 this? And then I go, oh, you also get them without the interruptions.
Yeah, you get
early.
Yeah, you get them 24 hours early, so early access to new episodes, and they're ad free because instead of posting them through Spotify, we post them in a different manner.
So that's another benefit too.
Yeah. So thank you for those of you who are patrons, and a special thank you again to our halftime sponsor, Mikey V, who recently, I keep wanting to say knighted us, but it's not knighted us, but he ranked us up. We're now lieutenants. Maybe next year we can be like commanders, I don't know, generals.
Sure.
I don't know if I want to be a general in the Imperial Army. Maybe. So it's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. Tomorrow is just a list away.
Tune in next time, and we'll see you real soon.